Okay, we're good.
All right, so it is 7:01, October 9th, 2025. I'll call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Roll call. Torres?
Here.
Gonzalez? No? Hussein?
Here.
Jost? Here. Lisa Jackson? Here. Moldowski? Here. Pelletier? Here. All right. Okay, public comments, agenda items only. It's us and Jeff. I would say hi, Jeff. Okay, first, is there anything that anyone would like to pull off the consent agenda? Then I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. That includes regular board meeting minutes from September 11, 2025, special board meeting minutes from September 11, 2025, and the September 2025 financial statements. I'll second. Hussein?
Yes.
Jost?
Yes.
Lisa? Yes. Moldowski? Yes. Pelletier, yes. Flores?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Next, President's report. Well, I have a couple quick things. First, Pam mentioned this in her report too, but I attended the recent Morgan Grove Chamber of Commerce legislative breakfast, and it was, we had a really great showing of a lot of local leaders, including our own Mayor Janine Whitko. We had the Niles Mayor. We had a few state representatives, and it was even just to hear the Laura Fine is doing a lot for mental health accessibility. Mike Kelly talked a lot about his personal experience being a firefighter, and he's worked really hard to remove forever chemicals in firefighting groups. So it's really cool to just hear everyone's perspective there, and it was a great turnout, and felt proud to represent us in that way. So that was cool. Okay, and then my other quick thing, we will have elections for our treasurer in November. I had thought about it too late. I was kind of distracted with the executive director search, and so I forgot to ask Pam to include that in our agenda. Tamara has expressed interest in the treasurer position, so that'll be listed as an agenda item. If anyone else is interested, please shoot me a message or contact me and let me know. And then what I will probably do is then we can kind of appoint committees in November as well too, because I know that we have a couple new trustees who need some committee appointments, and we'll take care of that then. So those are my.
How secret?
Yeah. Yeah, you guys had a big one this last one. Yeah. Okay, so committee reports, finance we touched under the consent agenda. Facilities we'll touch a little bit under the bathroom renovation policy. You guys are busy, but we'll touch that under new business. So we're down to staff reports. Is there anything you'd like to highlight?
If anyone has any questions about my report, let me know. There's a couple other things I did want to mention to the board that have come up recently. I don't know if you've heard, you may not have, you may have, I'm not sure, but Baker and Taylor, our main jobber for materials, both print and some AV, not as much AV, is going out of business by the end of the year, which is a huge deal for public libraries in particular. So the managers and I have been meeting. Melissa's been on vacation this week when this all, it's literally that they had a deal, someone else was gonna buy them, and the deal has literally fallen apart in the last 2 weeks. So like on the day that they were supposed to sign is when the whole deal fell apart. So this, as I said, is a pretty major deal for us. So we're working on transitioning purchase of materials to a couple different other vendors, and, yeah, so it's just been really disruptive as we try to figure out where we're gonna get our stuff. And, you know, I mean, over the years, libraries have become more and more reliant on Baker and Taylor in terms of pre-processing and all of those kinds of things. So, you know, trying to find someone who does those same types of things is not as straightforward, because they have such a strength. I don't want to say stranglehold. I mean, they've been in the library market for years. Actually, Baker and Taylor started in 1828. So it's, yeah, it's a huge deal for libraries, and yeah, so all over the country. But so we're working on it. Jeff and Courtney and Melissa, you know, are the ones that are mostly having to kind of figure all that out. But yeah, so just wanted to give you that update. So that shouldn't impact anything that we're really doing. What we in terms of collections too much, at least. I mean, in the long run, we'll get it straightened out. Right now, in the short term, what we have had to do is anything, because Baker and Taylor for the last month or so has been showing zero, like they didn't have any copies of anything. So anytime we placed an order, it was just 0 copies. So what we're doing is, at least for now, is handling all of the high demand items, so bestsellers, things that have holds on them. We're getting them through Amazon. Not perfect. We can also go and buy them from Barnes and Noble if we have to. But then in the interim, that we're also looking at contracting. We do have an account with Ingram, but we don't normally use them for, you know, big orders. We've used them, like we had the One Book, One Village. We bought some extra books through them and stuff. So we're going to work on beefing up those Ingram accounts to see if we can kind of do an apples to apples transfer of the types of processing and pre-processing stuff that we do. So like I said, that's kind of where we're at right now. It's not a perfect solution. I'm not thrilled with it, you know, using Amazon to that extent, but really we don't have a lot of other choice if we want to continue to provide those materials in a timely manner to our patrons. So
can we not use an independent bookstore?
We could.
Like
what we're looking at in terms of that is availability of materials. Cost is always a factor for us, particularly now when I have not received any tax monies for at least 2 months. So, you know, I'm monitoring that as well.
And
So our goal is to not utilize. I mean, we get things from Amazon frequently, and it's oftentimes if it's like short notice, those kinds of things where we can't get it, and it's a high demand item.
Yeah.
And so, in the long term, our goal is not to do that, but
Sure.
we also have to be realistic. And I mean, there's been lots of speculation that Amazon is working on a library component, a library unit. I'm sure that's going to happen. I have heard through the grapevine that Amazon has poached a couple of Baker and Taylor's high up executives. So I think it's only a matter of time, as painful as it is to give Jeff Bezos more money. But you know, there's always a balancing act between making sure our patrons get what they want, having it be
Sure.
cost effective and timely, and those kinds of things. So, but long term, our goal is to not be as reliant on Amazon. We're hoping that Ingram can pick up the slack there. Materials for youth services is a little bit easier because Courtney has already been transitioning away from as much Baker and Taylor, just because of the types of materials that she was able to get through a couple of other jobbers. So it does have more of an effect for our adult materials right now. So is there anything that you think I should add, Jill, to that?
I was going to say, yeah, Courtney had already kind of transitioned.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
luckily, kids stuff has been coming in, and
Yeah.
it's been through other vendors, but it's mainly adult materials
That's
that.
being effective.
Yes.
Because adult materials was the materials that were still coming in through Baker and Taylor, and that's kind of why Courtney did switch over, because they weren't supplying the children's materials as well as they were adult materials. And so it's just within the last month that they just kind of stopped everything.
Yeah, I mean, and it's literally been like so short notice. I mean, I think it was on Monday, I sent this, I see this, maybe an email post from another director or whatever, and I sent it to the managers. I'm like, did you hear this? It was just like, all of a sudden, we knew that they had been having troubles, but all of a sudden they're like, no, they're done, they're closing. We're like, alrighty, so.
And it was literally, it was like a month ago or 2 months ago that they were gonna merge and sell, so we're like, okay, we understand maybe they're not buying things right now, they're waiting for the sale to go through. And like Pam said, literally the day the sale was supposed to finalize, an alert came through saying it didn't go through. And then a week and a half later, they're
Is
just
when
done.
Yeah, they're done.
And- yeah.
By the end of the year, they will have shut down operations.
Wow.
So like, we're handling it. Hopefully that patrons won't notice that, but we are having to do a little bit more scrambling to cover that. So I just wanted to mention those two things.
Yeah.
And unless anyone has other questions about that or my report or any of the staff reports, I don't have anything else.
Yeah. How is everyone feeling about the training for the Narcan?
I don't know yet. So, Leighton and I have sat in on a couple of different online trainings now. It's very easy. It's hard to screw up
Yeah.
giving people the opioid antagonist.
No, I know, but it's intense,
But
right?
it is intense
Yeah.
when you're thinking, oh my gosh, someone's doing this. We are having, as I mentioned, even though as far as the law is concerned, online training is acceptable, staff oftentimes feel better when there's an actual person coming. So we do have someone coming from the Cook County Department of Public Health at our staff and service that will give us an in-person demonstration. We have some of the fake Narcan dispensers so people can hold them and see what it's like, that kind of thing. So hopefully this will never happen to anyone here at the library, but if it does, administering this seems much less stressful than doing like CPR or
doing
using
like
the
an
AED
AED,
machine
yeah,
and
yeah.
those kinds of things. So that training will be November 7th, and then, as I indicate too, that going forward, that new employees, because this is a requirement now, and the trainings we've been to have pretty much said that the law really wants you to have someone at all times on staff that has been trained in this. So as just making it a requirement annually, like we do some of our other trainings, like sexual harassment and that sort of thing, we figure that will always be covered.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so far, I imagine we'll get more feedback after we have the training in
Concerns, yeah.
November, yeah.
Any other questions for Pam? Okay.
I guess, the transition to a post at Tamara's world, because winter coming and everything, it's kind of I don't know if there's ever a good time for the facilities manager to go, but I know for me with apartments, it's like kind of battening down the hatches before winter comes is kind of a process. Is there somebody who's kind of taking over for the interim with him?
Nope. We're working on that. We actually just posted for the facilities manager position today. So I'm hoping to have that, ideally, right, it would be great to have that filled before it snows, but that means it's probably gonna snow tomorrow.
With the cheeks.
I am aware of that. I have had that same thought, that there's never a good time for these things to
Yeah.
happen. So, if necessary, we can contract with someone already as it is. So the church already plows their lot. The village hall plows the east alley and will the alleys. So basically, the only thing that we've been responsible for is the sidewalks. And then, depending on when it snows, the village will sometimes plow the spaces behind the library. But if it's like during the day, that's usually when our staff will go out and do that. Ganka is here still, obviously, she's always been great help with that. If it comes to a point where we are having inclement weather, I'll talk to the village and or hire someone to do those things on an as-needed basis. So it's mostly snow removal, that is my main concern right now, that if we don't have someone in place by then, so I've been thinking about it, so.
Yeah, and like, for example, like for my apartments, like I always preemptively run the heat well before.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
get that
I'm less
first cold
concerned
snap.
about those kinds of things because we get our quarterly preventative maintenance and
Awesome.
everything, and
Okay.
so, the building is pretty well set in terms of that. There's not a lot that we change or do to like winterize the buildings.
Perfect.
So it's mostly gonna be like, how do we deal with like snow and bad weather and those kinds of things if we don't have someone in place. But I am considering options if we don't have someone in place yet.
Question?
And I have SMC is aware, and of course, because they're super nice, I mean, they're willing to help us out during the renovation process, but also if, you know, push comes to shove, if I said, I really need someone to do this in my building, I'm sure that they would help us out as
Yeah.
well.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we're to unfinished business, bathroom renovation.
So it starts next week, as you can see, or some people noticed, some people didn't. We started to prepare the areas that are initially going to be addressed. So Ganka's been great. She's cleaned out a space in the garage because the first week is gonna be just demoing of the bathrooms themselves. So the only thing that will be blocked up in the building are that hallway, is the hallway with the bathrooms. So the garage part is all cleared out so that the trades can access the bathroom through the garage rather than tramp through the building. So that's done. Asbestos abatement will start October 20th, and so, but we've already started to work on removing all the stuff from the east lobby entrance. So move the vending machine. I was gonna take a look at the book drop tomorrow morning before we open, because we think we're gonna have to pound to get that off the wall. And hopefully there won't be too much damage to the wall, but we'll work with SMC about getting that repaired if necessary. And then for the next 2 weeks, we're making all of the book sale stuff free so that we can get rid of it, because then those shelves have to come down as well. And then we'll move the self-check to another part of the library, so. So for the first week, the east entrance will still be open because it's just the bathroom demos. The week of October 20th is when we'll close up that whole section. So access to the building will only be through the Lincoln Avenue entrance. And it'll be all wrapped in plastic for the asbestos abatement. They anticipate that actual abatement will only take a couple of days, but then we have to wait for air quality testing. So it's pretty much gonna be that whole week. But then after that, the plan is to open up that entrance again and people can access the Baxter room, but then we'll rope off where they'll be actually putting in new carpet tiles and new tile and that kind of thing. So it won't look as pretty, but it will, at least you'll have access to the building again from the east entrance. So right now, it's anticipated that the only time the east entrance will be closed completely and no elevator access will be that week during asbestos abatement. So
Yeah.
it's kind of where we're at.
Will we create some temporary accessible parking spaces out front, or?
There's no way to do that because it's not our property. So the
I mean,
spaces.
the village can't put up signs saying,
They
like,
may be able to. They've never done that for us in the past. I mean, we've had the east entrance closed before.
yeah, okay.
So we have had at least one person asked if we're gonna express concern about losing the handicap spaces during the renovation, and we've been reminding them that the spaces aren't going away, but how they're getting in the
They
building.
just have to go
You
around.
have to go around,
Yeah.
so,
And thankfully, it's only a week.
it's only a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I, you know, with construction, we can never plan it far enough in advance to not have it impact programming in some way, because our programs are planned so far in advance, right? So, I mean, the newsletter went out a month before we even knew all the dates, right? So it can be difficult. So I feel like it's not perfect, but it's not bad, and I think we're working hard to accommodate that. So, you know, while that is closed off, we've actually been able to move out of the Baxter room a couple of the programs, and then there are a couple that will happen that week that we will be letting people in through the emergency exits in the room. But there's just really no other way. There's one big YS program that we'll have to still have in there, and then Courtney is hosting a youth services manager meeting there, but you know, she's aware of that, and she's let everyone know that, you know, when they come for that. So we'll just, you know, we'll have to have people out there kind of guiding people in and stuff, so. Yeah. But like I said, hopefully it's just that week, and then the Baxter room will continue to have programming in it through the end of the year, and then January is when we'll do the Baxter room. So
Okay.
the staff already are aware of that, and so they're not planning any programming in January in the Baxter room, just to have that be as clean as possible.
Yeah.
In terms of that.
Do you want to look at the cabinets that are under the stage? Just because I was watching all these officials speak, and my eyes kept looking, you know, if you Is it expensive?
To do what?
To new cabinet doors, to potentially,
We've never priced that out. I
Okay.
know that they were painted during the 2014, 2015 renovation.
Yeah.
And I was not here, so, I mean, we could certainly look at painting them again. Nothing's been done to them in at least 10 years.
Okay.
So,
and or is it worth it, or, you know?
we've not really gotten any kind of pricing about that. We can certainly do that if that's something that the board wants to pursue. I would say we can. Some of it would depend on what you're actually looking
Yeah.
for that to be, right? I mean, right now, there is some stuff that's stored under there, so.
I mean, I would say keep the storage, my eyes just happened to go down because I was in.
It's hard, because you're sitting down and you're looking, and the stage is higher.
Yeah, and, they're kind of held in this little hook, and, you know, and then I was in a meeting in there, and then people were like kicking the door, hooky, hook, kick, and I'm just like looking at the doors, and so, I don't know,
Okay.
it's not a big deal, maybe next time, you know, any of you guys
We
are in there,
we can add it to the list,
Just-
so, yeah,
just happen to
yeah.
Are you looking for like a more
keep the storage.
nicer
but-
looking hardware?
Something.
But yeah, like maybe doors that, is it a big deal to sturdier doors that can
We would have
somehow-
to, I think those are probably the original doors that were on that from 1978, when that addition was first built, would be my guess. I also would think, just based on what I remember about the size of those cabinet doors sitting here now, they're probably non-standard.
Yeah.
So we would
Yeah.
have to have something custom, which is not
Yeah.
doable. We could certainly do that, but there
Yeah.
would be some cost involved
Yeah.
in that. But we can certainly look into that. And I would say maybe after they do the carpet,
Absolutely, and if you just, you know, this nice brand new looking carpet,
Right.
and then,
yeah, and then
you
you're
know,
gonna have the
you know.
yeah,
and-
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah. So I made a note of that. I'll
yeah,
add that to our list.
okay, all right. Thank you for that.
So yeah, this is a brief update with the bathroom renovation. Obviously, over the next, it will be interesting. Special thanks to Karina, and for next week, she's going to, with Ed not being here, the trades start at 6 a.m. So Karina has graciously offered to come and let people in.
Oh,
So,
nice.
especially for next week, because I'm gonna be at ILA for the first half of the week, so, and I've already, as I said, SMC is aware of this, Zach already knows, he came back out, he came out the other day to look through everything, make sure that we were all set to start on Monday, and so, and ILA is up here, so I'll just be in Rosemont.
That's better.
Oh, that's
Yes,
That's better.
Rockford is, yeah, I'll just be in Rosemont if I have to come back or whatever,
Yeah.
but, the staff is awesome, so I don't anticipate that we'll have any issues, and Zach is good, so I think.
Thanks, Karina.
Yeah.
That's really nice of you.
And Jeff has been really great in helping us move things around so far and stuff, so special thanks to Jeff too. So.
Really quick, so do you think like if they had handicap spots on Lincoln, it would be a lot closer than going around?
Well, right, that's, even if we have the dedicated space, for a wheelchair, that's important to
Yeah,
have
or
that extra space, but I'm thinking of an elderly person.
Yeah.
Somebody on a
That's a
walker or
long
something,
walk.
it's a
That's
lot
a
more.
Yeah,
I know I know we never did it before, but there is a new village manager, and he seems kind of like a go-getter, kind of eager. Do you think we could ask him about maybe temporarily designating those spots?
What spots do you want designated?
I guess on the
Whichever
side
one's
street, not
closest.
Lincoln,
Well,
yeah.
Georgiana, they can't.
Oh, they
I mean,
can't.
because
Oh,
there's no
because of that.
designated spots, that's
Okay.
just first come, first serve. So, I mean, there's not, like, there's a spot that say, this is handicapped, you can't park here. We would have to block off if the village allowed us to do that.
I mean, I think it would be more of an honor system thing, more of an honor system than
Yeah, because
Right.
it would be hard to enforce.
enforce,
too,
but
if it
just by
was-
putting up a sign for 2 spots, maybe that would,
I would think whatever's kind of the straightest shot to the ramp,
yeah.
just to kind of make it the shortest distance between a car door and the entry to the library.
So I would have to go out and look at the street, but
Yeah.
the other issue that you're running into is by designating spots that are not already designated that way, you don't have any curb cutouts, you don't have anything, so I'm not sure. So
Right.
if your concern is just about someone who's elderly and just can't walk as well or as far, that's a different thing. But if you're really saying,
Right.
this is for someone who has a stroller, is in a wheelchair,
Oh,
is
yeah,
in
no,
those
that would
kind
be
of
a
things that-
nightmare.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, you're still trying to
It's still a
negotiate that.
regular curb.
Right, that would be a nightmare, you wouldn't wanna load a wheelchair.
I can ask, I don't know if the village will do that.
Okay.
I mean, I can ask, we've not done it before, and my other concern is that, and I don't want this to come out the wrong way, but would it really be worth it for just
For a week.
For a week, yeah.
And what the village may have to do or what we may have to do. I don't know what they may or may not require, they may just say, no, we don't do that, and then, you know, it's, yeah.
And I was thinking like, I think for me like cause last year I was on crutches, and like going from there around, parking in the handicap spot, and then going through down the street, up the entrance, a lot more of a
Well,
hike.
you'd be on the sidewalk. at
Oh,
least.
true,
There-
but
there is
I'm just talking about the distance, because you're basically going down one side, down the other side, and then in, versus just across the lawn, if that was doable.
And I'm thinking more about someone like my mom, if she decided to come to the library.
And they're also first come, first served, so let's just say that
So
happens
the
and we
other
block
thing
off two
too,
spots.
the other thing too
Yeah, for
is
sure.
that we
You're
still,
gonna be,
and we still are offering curbside. So anyone that can't make it into the library, that's one of the things that we're offering as an alternative, that, where the spots are still there, but if for any reason they've got any kind of mobility issues, or if that makes it more difficult for them, we can certainly do curbside as well for them, if what they're wanting to do is pick up materials. Now, obviously, if they're coming into process, it's a different thing,
Right.
but
nice.
I can ask.
Thank you.
Okay. Next in our unfinished business is the executive director search. Do you want me to go?
Sure.
Okay. So Pam and I have been in touch with Jim and Alex, and they talked us through the timeline. So they kind of lending a lot of their expertise with this as well too. So we are going to sign the contract November 1, but they highly advised us to not stray too far, because if you start looking at the timeline as it goes down too, it's not just the start of the process, it's also when the advertisement goes out, if you push all that up, then you start hitting around Thanksgiving time. And they highly advise to avoid that too, like that could be even more challenging, like the start of the holiday season is probably even like a worse time to do it. So, and they kind of like their little tricks of the trade too, posting the job December 22nd, they almost like a strategic kind of thing, because people are a lot of times off that next week, and they start kind of looking around for job candidates, and they usually get a flood of applicants, and so that can actually boost some of that traffic. So talking through that and kind of leaning on their expertise of their process and their experience with this. The slight adjustments were meeting with, signing the contract November 1, meeting with the board, establishing the salary range, December 1, around that week. So moving things up slightly, but not straying too far off the entire timeline, because this was based on their expertise about how they saw the most success with us. So we will have to figure out, and this is in the future, but it will be something that we'll probably have to figure out. There will be 2 evenings the week of either January 26th or February 2nd. Usually that's the time where a lot of us are in town, so that's good. Where we'll have interviews with the finalists, and they are keeping us updated with all the other, what did I miss?
Nope, I think that, it takes time.
Yeah.
That's why I always said that I give you at least 6 months. 'Cause
Yeah.
These director searches typically take about this long. So
Yeah.
this is not out of the
Yeah.
ordinary.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
I think there'll be a lot of
Yeah,
applicants.
and a question they asked about who would be the interim director, and that was something that we touched on last week, but Pam and I also talked about again today too. I think we like the idea of having a little bit of that overlap with Pam and then the new director. So, that's not really necessarily a concern for us, so,
And that being said, we do have a succession plan, and those two people, Courtney, I have asked her, and Jeff is also willing to step in if necessary, but I know that it was my understanding from the board and just from our discussions that you didn't want to have to rely on like a full-fledged interim director
Yeah.
if necessary, that there was some desire to have some overlap, was my understanding, so.
yeah. So that's the update with that, and more to come. This will be our project for the next few months, so, yeah. Any questions?
Did you say February 2nd or 22nd?
Sorry, either the week of January 26th or the
Okay.
week of February 2nd,
Okay.
kind of right around
Oh,
that
okay.
timeframe. Like figuring out 2 evenings where we can all be here, interview the finalists, and so that'll be like, just to put on your radar. Like it's not like we have to, decide that.
Okay,
Right
yeah,
away,
just
but,
to know,
you know.
like, not to plan a winter vacation.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's fine.
He just
So
stayed
you're
away
right.
just crazy.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, so that was that update. Okay, so we have the second and final reading of the 2026 budget. I know Pam said you did not get any additional feedback from anyone. I think you went through everything with a lot of detail. No, I mean,
Motion to pass the budget?
I think that was not like a dig against you. I think you did a
No,
great job.
I know,
No, that's
I was
exactly
thinking,
it.
I'm sure it's like, oh,
She didn't get
she's
any
reading
red
this
marks,
again,
marks,
you know,
yeah.
that kind of thing, so.
Has anything
So-
changed since?
The only thing that changed
Oh,
was,
you
as
told
I
us
said,
that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just, in a further review of the actual costs of our FSA plan, I made a $2,500 adjustment, so I took that extra $2,500 out of the building and service improvement line, which is kind of our wiggle room one, the one that we use towards any improvements that we're making. So that's the only change, everything else is the same as it was, so. And as I said in my notes, it did not change the levy request or the bottom line, the bottom line, everything remained the same.
Motion to approve?
So,
Budget for
say all.
2020.
Yeah, you have to read the whole thing.
It's right here. Or I can do it if you
Or
prefer.
I'm like, good, it's your suggested motion, yeah, because yeah.
Motion to approve the 2026 budget as presented, reflecting a levy request of $4 million, $45,637, and a total of $4,257,018.
With the overall budget.
Second.
A second. Oh,
No.
you saying second, okay, I thought you were asking.
Either one works.
Sorry, I moved that because it was ringing, so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
You, it's
Oh, you're
okay.
fine.
We were all just trying to figure out whose phone it was.
I know, yeah.
Okay. Let's wait for you so we can vote.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine. Perfect. All right. Jost?
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Moldowski,
Yes.
Pelletier, yes, Flores,
Yes.
Hussein.
Yes.
Okay. Under new business, executive director review process. So in your packets, you all received a blank copy of the executive director annual review. So this is usually when they're distributed in October. So what I would like to ask, if everyone could complete their evaluation and turn that in. So it's usually the 4th Thursday, but let's look at this.
And if anyone wants this as a Word document, I can send it to you if you prefer to
Yeah,
fill it
whatever
out
you-
online, so.
Yeah. So, okay, so if you do it digitally, you can email it to me. If you prefer the paper and pen, put it in a sealed envelope, and you can drop it off with Leighton or Pam, and I can pick it up. So let's have, because the board meeting is November 13th. Why don't we do How about a due date of October 30th? Does that work for everyone?
Sure.
So that gives you 3 weeks, so.
So I'll send the digital copy to everyone and you can fill them out if you want.
Yeah. So then then Joanne and I will meet before the November meeting. Basically what we do, we're just gonna kind of go through all of the completed applications, and make sure that we're all kind of, on the same page, come up with a salary recommendation